Hello, dear friends. Patrick here, February 2028, a beautiful sunny day in Canada here. It's around 3 degrees, about 37 degrees Fahrenheit, something like that. I wanted to share with you a clip that I found, another clip I found of Christopher Hitchens that I'm going to splice in here shortly, where he's being asked if he believes that Jesus ever lived, if he was a real figure in history. And I want you to watch closely how subtle he is with his lie. At the end of the clip, the person asks him point blank, so you don't believe that Jesus ever lived? And he says, no, I don't believe there's reason to believe that he ever lived. You see the difference? How subtle that is? See, if he were to get up there and say, I don't believe Jesus was a real person in history, I don't believe he ever lived, he'd be laughed off the stage. Well, he probably wouldn't be, because people will fall over every word he says. But anybody that has any scholarly knowledge of history would say, no, that's a lie. He was a real figure in history. That's been proven over and over again. The four Gospels, it makes sense that they have contradictions, because when four different people are trying to tell the same story, that's what you would expect, right? But he says, no, I don't believe there's any reason to believe that he lived. This is the subtlety of the lies of Satan that say, yea, hath God said? Did that really? You don't have to believe that. You don't need to have any reason to believe that. And so I want to share with you what it says here. As you've probably heard these before, it says, who is the liar but he that denies that Jesus is the Christ? He is antichrist, that denies the Father and the Son. Right? Every spirit that confesses not that Jesus Christ is come in the flesh is not of God. And this is the spirit of antichrist, where you've heard that it was going to come, and it's already now in the world. This is written in the first century by John. It says, continuing on, many deceivers are entered into the world who confess not that Jesus Christ is come in the flesh. This is a deceiver and an antichrist. So you either believe Hitchens or you believe what the apostles were warning us against, right? And of course, we're going to summarize with from Paul again. He says, even though they knew God, they did not honor him as God or give thanks. They became futile in their reasonings, and their senseless hearts were darkened. That's what happened to Dawkins. He became futile. And so I'm going to put in this clip here. Take a look and watch closely how he tries. And of course, he throws in his sarcasm talking about the paternity of Jesus to once again get the crowd on his side. He loves to be able to manipulate the crowd through his dry wit and his dry humor and all that. Don't fall for that. Don't fall for that. Be on your awares. Watch closely, and I'm going to splice this clip in here.
As I spun up through the book, it said that you didn't really think there was evidence for Jesus existing. And I wondered, are you Kierkegaard? Are you playing with us, or do you really believe that statement?
There's no, this plain statement that anyone could make. Jesus of Nazareth is not a figure in history. There is no firm evidence that he existed. I have it in some detail in my book. None of the apostles.
You go through Bar Ehrman, so.
We're running out of time.
Yes, there is Professor Ehrman's very excellent book, but if you didn't have Professor Ehrman's book and all you had was the four Gospels, none of the four authors agree on any important fact about his life. They can't get the date right, they can't get the place of birth right, they clearly can't get the paternity right, which I think is no small thing myself. They can't know. It's hopelessly discrepant. Unfortunately, the Prophet Muhammad, you can say, is a figure in history, but that doesn't make it any more believable that he was dictated to by an archangel.
You really do believe Jesus never existed?
No, I say there's no reason to believe that he did.
So there you have it. Christopher Hitchens, antichrist, against Christ, saying that, oh, you don't have to believe. There's no reason to believe. Trying to deviously influence his point of view, which is the antichrist point of view, and that is expanding today. In my last video, I posted Christopher Hitchens was being all smarmy and being cynical, sarcastic. And I mentioned that in the video. I said, people are going to say he's trying to be funny, But the fact was the words that he spoke, and that was the point I was trying to make. I know he was trying to be sarcastic and flippant and all that irony stuff, and it's obvious it comes out in what he's saying. But he had the opportunity to say, "Look at I'm being that," and he didn't. Right? He kept pushing his lie, which you know. So a lot of people freaked out. Oh, you don't understand irony, and you don't know this, and you don't know that, and you're not being sincere. No, I'm being sincere because I'm telling you what he said, right? Whether he was being ironic or not is beside the point. And now we have this second clip that I'm including for you, where he's being asked point blank, and he's telling you that he is an antichrist. There's no doubt about it. So if you want to be on his side, if you think that Christopher Hitchens is this great hero and he's such a champion of logic and reasoning, then you are also joining in your mind and heart and spirit to be an antichrist. You are against Christ. And if you accept that and you're willing to live your life that way and meet eternity that way, that's your choice. But at least you know what you're facing. And people say, oh, you have no evidence for God. You see, I sought God because I saw the hypocrisy in these TV preachers that say, oh, I was talking to God this morning and he told me what suit to wear and on and on and on. I lived through all that hypocrisy of the 80s and it disgusted me. And I sought God, and when God showed up, after 3 days of fasting, if you want to have evidence for God, find your own evidence. Find your own evidence. It says those that would please God must believe that he is, and he is a rewarder of those that faithfully, diligently seek him. Jesus said that a wicked and adulterous group of people ask for a sign, and no sign will be given it, except that the fact that Christ was in the belly of the earth for 3 days and 3 nights. He said Jonah, because in his day, that was the sign that happened many, many, many years before, and people wouldn't believe, but they repented when John the Baptist told them about Jonah, right? And it's the same today. Pardon me. It's the same today. People refuse to believe. And there's Jesus even gave a story of a guy who said, oh, he ended up in Hades, a place of torments, after he died. And he said, oh, send Lazarus to go talk to my brothers so they'll believe. And Abraham told him, even if somebody rose from the dead, you still wouldn't believe. You still wouldn't believe, because Lazarus ended up getting raised from the dead. And most of the people wouldn't believe. They've refused to believe. So these people that are asking for evidence, show me your evidence of your God. Show me evidence. They wouldn't believe even if the evidence came and bit them on the nose. That's what a wicked person does. Just sits back and says, show me your evidence. That's not going to please God. That's not going to let God show up for you. So the point of this video is to let you know that you have made your choice, that you are an antichrist. If you want to see somebody that gives glory to God, I watched a video yesterday by Nayib Bukele, the president of El Salvador, who just got reelected. And he says he cleaned up his country, got rid of the globalist forces, got rid of the gangs that were destroying his country, and put the country back on solid footing, that now it's prospering and people are happy again. And he said, you know what he said in his speech? He said, I give all glory to God. That's a real leader. You can see that he's speaking when he's speaking from his heart and truth. The politicians we have here in Canada, it's all theater. You can see that they're putting on a show. There's no integrity in what they're saying, right? And in the U.S. is similar. You got one gangster competing against another gangster to become president. You know, take your pick. I like a quote that somebody said the other day, who was a Canadian retired politician by the name of Hillier. He said, you can't drain the swamp when you're standing in it. He said, you can only drain the swamp from the outside. That's it. We need a spiritual solution to our political problems. We need a change in people's hearts. We don't need a change in who they're voting for, because the whole system is corrupt. So if you want to see a good video, I'm going to put a link to Nayib Bukele's speech that I saw yesterday. If you have time, you may want to check it out, because the guy talks a lot of sense. He's talking mostly about, he's addressing an American audience, and he's addressing the dangers that the U.S. is facing, that their nation is in a state of collapse, just like it was for El Salvador. And it takes godly people to turn that around. Pardon me, just trying to have some Java here. So God bless you. Thank you for watching. This is in response to all the flack that people, all the Christopher Hitchens fanboys out there that are all agaga about how great Christopher Hitchens was. Him, right? He was an antichrist. If that's your hero, that's why I say good luck to you, because you're going to need all the luck you can get. You've decided that your life is just going to be subject to random forces and that you're going to be a servant of Satan, just like Christopher Hitchens was. He didn't make any bones about it. He was an antichrist, and that's what you are if you think that he is a great representative of what you believe. And I would strongly encourage you not to do that. Why? Because I have faith in God. And I believe that he's real, he exists, and that he still does miracles today, and he still intervenes on behalf of people today, that he still answers prayers today, that he can make you a better person today, that he can make your life better and make it genuine and happy and joyful and peaceful. It is all possible. Don't look at me as an example, because I'm an old cranky man. Okay, right? But look to Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith, and you'll see this man, he was the Son of God. Right? And it's the same God that the Muslims are trying to it's funny, he mentions, Muhammad was a real figure in history. It's the same God, it's the God of Abraham that the Muslim people are trying to please and trying to serve. And they are good theists, people that are trying to serve God to the best that they can with the knowledge that they have and the prophet that they have. Even Jesus said, if you believe in a prophet, you're going to have the prophet's reward. He never condemned Muhammad. Obviously, Muhammad lived many, many years after Jesus, but that's for another video. God bless you. Thank you for watching. I hope you get a chance to see that clip. I hope I'm able to splice it in. And if you get a chance, check out what a real leader looks like, named Bukele, who gives all glory to God. Thank you for watching. God bless you. I hope you have yourself a wonderful day. We'll talk to you again soon, okay? Bye-bye. Bye-bye for now. Have a good day.